your overall experience into the DevOps?
So in total, I'm having around 5 years of experience. I started my career with Ecom Express. I was working as a cloud operations engineer, and then I moved to Globallogic. And right now, I'm working with Maropost as a DevOps engineer. And the responsibility which I am handling is like creating CI/CD pipelines, creating the writing Docker file, and also managing Kubernetes. And sometimes we have to do monitoring and create dashboard for Grafana and Prometheus. And I've also used configuration management tools like JR, Ansible.
Okay, I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay. So on the cloud side, like what are the key services like you're using on day-to-day basis?
The key services are VPC, S3, IM, load balancer, auto scaling groups,
Mhm.
RDS, all these things I have used.
Okay. So let's say I have created one EC2 instance in one of my private subnet,
Okay.
and then I created one S3 bucket in the same account in the same region. Uh, I'm trying to access my S3 bucket from the EC2 instance using CLI, but let's say I'm not able to do so. So how you will troubleshoot this?
So you have to check like you have allowed the SS2, S3. You can have to check S3 policies, like if you have allowed the access to that instance or not, and then you have to troubleshoot.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. How you will troubleshoot? If you can explain what are the key things you will check.
Key thing is like first we have to check our bucket policies, like if the is EC2 that EC2 is allowed or not. First this we will check, and then from a EC2 instance we will go to AWS 3C LS, and then we will check that if it is listing that S3 bucket or not. If it is not listing, that means it is not authenticated, that EC2 is not allowed. So you have to do the configuration first.
Okay, so let's say I fix the policies and the permissions are given, but still not working.
Still not working, then you have to find the root cause, like what is causing the problem. So like it must be, it can be in different way, but that is not an issue.
Okay. So have you worked on Redshift warehousing solutions
No, that shit I did not work.
and do you have experience on multiple account setup on AWS? Like, are you using one single account only as of now?
Yes, we multiple IM users.
Okay. So let's say I have 10 different AWS accounts,
Okay.
and the challenge is I don't want to create separate IAM users manually for my users. Let's say for you, if I have to create the access, I don't want to create 10 different IAM users.
Okay.
I want to have a centralized login solution. So how you will design this?
For this, we can use Terraform for this, and you can
Hmm.
yes, we can use Terraform, and we can create multiple IM users through that only.
Okay. So what's your experience with the Docker?
Docker, I worked in previous company also, in this company also I'm working in Docker.
So can you tell me what is the difference between CMD and entry point in your Docker file?
CMD is like when you there are multiple CMD, the only the latest CMD will be executed, and in entry point, like it is a default command which is going to be executed when the container launches. So in entry point, like it is replaceable, like you can give your own command through command Docker command. So that is the main difference. Like
So you're saying like we can override the entry point, but we cannot override the CMD.
yes.
Okay. Can you tell me a scenario where we can use both in one single Docker file?
Like CMD and entry point, you want to use both.
Yeah.
Like there is a scenario like there is a Node.js application running, and then there that by a custom jar file, and now you want to give a different jar, like Node.js, run different Node.js application jar. So with that with entry point, we can you can do that.
Okay. So let's say I have a Docker file and I have written expose 80 within my Docker file.
Okay.
Then I ran the Docker build command and I got the Docker image.
Yes.
After that, I am trying to run a container using that same Docker image. Now, once that container is running, will that container will be available on port 80 and you will be able to access it from your host machine?
Like you have to check your networking Docker networks, like if you've exposed or multi like port is that port is open or not. Like if you're using the host network, then it will work definitely. But if you're not using the host network, then it will not work.
So my question was like, we have already written expose 80 in our Docker file, and
Okay.
then we got the image, and then we got a container out of that image. So will that container, once came online, will be accessible on port 80 or not?
We have to check our Docker network, like if that is using the host network or not, and if the port is allowed, 80 port is allowed or not.
So you're saying this expose doesn't matter. We still have to verify and we still have to make sure that port binding must be there.
No, port binding is not mandatory. Like if you have to check on network, like it is exposed or not, like Docker network command, or we can.
So if it was written in the Docker file, it should be there, right?
Yes,
Why we need to check?
we don't need to check which. We just need to like check our connections and port is open or not. It will work.
Okay. All right. So on the Kubernetes side, how you are managing your deployments currently?
Currently, like we are managing it through Jenkins. Like we are pushing our builds, and a new version is updated in Kubernetes YAML, and that is we are applying. We're using rolling update.
Okay. And how your Jenkins is connecting to the Kubernetes cluster?
Through a plugin, continuous deploy Kubernetes plugin.
Okay. So your complete CI/CD is on Jenkins only.
Jenkins and someone build guide.
Okay. So you're using declarative or Groovy syntax for this?
We are using declarative.
Okay. So let's say I have 10 different unit test cases that I want to execute as part of my Jenkins pipeline,
Okay.
but I want to execute all of them in parallel.
Okay.
So how you will configure this in your pipeline or declarative pipeline?
Like you have to check the agents, like multiple agents are there or not, and then we can run on all the unit tests on agents.
That's fine. Don't worry about agents. Just explain how you will configure it in your pipeline.
You have to write the unit test cases, like there is a step for test cases, and then you have to write all the test cases, and after that where your test cases are there, and then it will ambient test and then pack.
I think you are not able to understand my question. So let's say unit test cases are already written, they are independent. We just have to trigger them. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you have a script unit test.sh. You have to trigger that script and then you have to pass 10 different arguments. I want you to run that script with 10 different arguments in one shot in parallel in Jenkins pipeline.
You can use build with parameter, and you can create a parameter for each one.
Okay. So how you're managing your secrets for your pipeline?
We can use AWS secret managers, and there are many secret management like Ansible Vault, Ashika Vault.
Okay. So which one you are currently like using?
Currently, we're using AWS System Manager, Secret Manager.
Secret manager. Okay. And what about Kubernetes? Like how you are managing your config maps and secrets for your pods or namespaces?
We for secrets and config map, like if there is any password or DB password, then we're using a secret YAML, and then we
Mhm.
can call that YAML secrets in that our deployment YAML. So through that we are doing that.
Okay, and how that where that YAML is stored, like where you are keeping those secret YAML files.
Secret YAML file, like we are just creating the YAML for that and we are calling that when required.
Now I'm asking where that YAML is stored. Is it on your Git? Is it on your any private repository? Where exactly you are storing those secret.yaml files?
It is in Git.
Okay. So do you think like this is a best approach to keep your secret.yaml on the Git?
No, this is not the best approach, like passwords or exports.
So if I'll give you a task to, redesign this thing for the secret management, what you will do, what kind of approach you will bring?
Like we can integrate AWS Secret Manager, and we can call that password from AWS Secret Manager. Like we get the command to get the retrieve the password and so you
Hmm.
can directly integrate in that our script only. Like that command will execute and will get the password.
Right. So how you will make sure that your namespace or your pods are able to communicate with the secret manager service on AWS? How you will manage the authentication part?
Like you can create a RBAC rollback access control for this, and then it will be automatically.
Okay. So which scripting language you are using?
Right now, like sometimes we, if you required, then we use shell scripting.
So how long you're working on the shell scripting?
I am working for many years, but right now, like automations are like generally we use ChatGPT.
Okay. And what about Terraform?
Yes, Terraform also I'm using. Like we are writing multiple scripts for our AWS environment and for creating any load balancer EC2. So we have written multiple Terraform scripts.
Okay. So what is the use of Terraform taint?
Like Terraform taint is like multiple users are using, and then we can mark a particular resource as tainted so that it will be destroyed and recreated when we apply it again. In Terraform state file, we can check which resource is tainted.
Okay. And let's say I have created more than 1000 EC2 instance using my Terraform. And then I created maybe 400-500 buckets and couple of other resources as well. Now my state file size is very huge.
Yes.
So next time, let's say I'm doing a very small change in one of the EC2 instance resource block. It is taking hours to run Terraform plan and apply.
Okay.
So first of all, why it is taking this much time? Second, how you will optimize this thing?
Like you can store the state of the file, state file in Terraform state file in S3 bucket.
That is fine, but my state file size is huge. That's the reason like I'm facing this challenge. How you will optimize, how you'll fast track this thing so that Terraform plan and apply will not take this much time.
Like I'm not sure about this. The state file is.
Can you explain what is the use of Terraform plan?
Terraform plan is like it will check all the resources which are newly created. So it will show you like in the list what resources are going to be created. So you after that it will list how many resources are created, and then it will apply. Apply. We have to apply that.
Okay, so that's fine. So let's say, uh, can you explain further, like in the backend, once you run Terraform plan, what is exactly happening in the backend?
In the
What
backend,
Terraform plan is doing?
it is checking the current state and desired state. Like if already there are new instances, then it will add the new instances and it will list the in Terraform plan, and then we have to apply that.
Okay. So let's say somebody manually tweak your one of the EC2 instance.
Okay.
It was T2 micro, but somebody moved it to maybe T2 medium or T3 medium manually on the UI. Next time when you run the Terraform plan with some new changes on your local, you are able to see that two resources will be created, one will be updated, right?
Yes.
Because this one resource is already running on medium, we have to update it back to T2 micro. So you will be able to see like one to update, two to add, right?
Yes.
So how Terraform will come to know like, okay, I have to optimize this one single instance and I have to create two new instance.
Like Terraform stores the state of every instance. Like if we want T2 micro, then it is already there in the state file. So it will check like the current state, desired state. So like if
Okay.
yes,
So how Terraform will fetch the current state? What is the mechanism?
current state is like current state is fetching from AWS only.
Using what?
Programmatic access, it is assessing and like checking when we do
Okay.
Terraform plan.
So basically you're saying whenever we run Terraform plan, it will fetch the latest data or latest state from AWS and then it will compare it with the current state that is having or it's managing on their local, right?
Yes.
So let's move to the previous question where we were having 1,000+ resources. So what exactly happening now in that case is your Terraform is making 1,000+ calls to AWS, right?
Yes.
That's why it was slow.
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
So now tell me how you will optimize this. You got the problem, you got the understanding right. Like the reason why it is taking so much time because Terraform plan is making 1,000 calls, getting the data, comparing it. It is
Yes.
taking so much time. Now how we can optimize this?
Like we can use. I'm not sure about this.
No problem. So which monitoring tool like you are using as of now?
Prometheus and Grafana.
Okay, and how long like you're working on Prometheus and Grafana?
Like Prometheus, I worked for more than 3+ years. I use Zabbix, Nagios also, but right now, from past few years, I'm using Prometheus and Grafana.
Okay. So like have you done the setup from scratch? Let's say if I have a new application where I want to add certain KPIs and set up Prometheus Grafana as well on my environment for the first time, will you be able to do that?
Yes, I have done that for multiple servers and applications also.
Okay. So let's say I'm new to Prometheus and Grafana and you have to explain me for the first time, I'm a fresher in your team. You have to explain me what Prometheus do, what
Okay.
Grafana do, how to set up one single basic alert for CPU utilization, let's say, on one of the server.
Okay, so like the first thing is that like Prometheus uses a exporter mechanism so that it grabs the data from that and then pushes to Prometheus servers, and from that Prometheus server we can get graphical in Grafana. So for the first step is to like in that server you have to install Node Exporter. After installing Node Exporter, then in Prometheus.yaml you have to mention the port of that port. After that, you have to restart the Prometheus service, and then in Prometheus UI you will get that is it active or not, like that server. And after with that we can check like up with the up command and like if it is up or down. Then we can use Grafana dashboard, like integrate our Grafana also with that.
Okay. And basically, on the scripting side, you mentioned like you're working on Bash. Have you worked on Groovy, Python? If required, like, will you be able to write the scripts?
Like sometimes it's required, then we have to do like for sometimes we are given Groovy, Ruby, and Python
Okay.
also.
So you're like comfortable with that.
Yes, yes, like I've done that.
Okay. And why you're looking for a change?
Like my company is located in Mohali, and I was hired for remote location, and they told me that their offices are opening, so they're planning to just change for every employee. So right now I have to shift to Mohali. So that is the reason. Like I'm staying in Noida right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you did your BTech, I think, from Ghaziabad, right?
Yes,
2018 pass out.
yes.
All right. So you have only location constraint. That's why you're looking for a change.
Yes, location is the main issue. Like I'm not willing to locate to Mohali.
Okay. And what's your notice period?
Like I've already talked with my manager. Like they're okay to relieve me earlier only. It's
Oh,
30
okay.
days is the official.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I think I've taken up all the details. So over to you if you have any question for me.
Yes, like I want to ask for like which project I'll be working and tools and technologies.
Okay. So this project is the DMS project, Data Management System project,
Okay.
and this project is completely into data and AI. So we have multiple in-house teams who are developing solutions to get the data from their client's environment into our data lake on S3. Then we have data mining, data pipelines, Glue services. If you are aware on AWS, like we have AWS Glue, Spark.
Yes.
Some data pipelines are running, and then we are extracting the data or refining the data in a better way. Then we are parking the data in data warehouse. So it's completely a data base around like the project. And the tools basically we are using AWS for the cloud side, Terraform for the infrastructure automation, CI/CD we are using like Jenkins and Harness. For scripting we are working on Python most of the time, and Groovy as well we are using. Apart from that, it's 100% Docker and Kubernetes based. Like we do not have any servers or VMs. We
Okay.
have completely pod based deployment, and then we have Helm packaging that we are using to deploy the changes to the production. So this is more about the tech stack.
Okay. Good to know that.
Okay. Anything else you want to ask?
No, no, I don't have any questions right now. Thank you.
Okay. So thanks for your time. Let me share the feedback with tag team, and they'll coordinate with you further.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye.